Okay, so Nate, we're talking about the kitchen written assignment. We're going to look at the reflective statement first. So the big thing to really hammer is that you learn things in the interactive, oral, cultural, and contextual. This first paragraph, you talk a little bit about what you learned about Japanese society, but a lot of it is almost a discussion of the book, right? In the book, we experience the pain and loneliness that comes with the death of a family member looking through Mikage's eyes. If you could maybe talk about funeral rites and the stuff we learned about there. If you want to talk about, I don't remember us talking about the substance abuse, but...
No, we didn't.
Okay. And if you want to talk about what we learned about Yoshimoto's life and, her investigation of life through death, that's fine. But we want to emphasize that this is what the group or you, if you were one of the members, talked about in the interactive oral, okay? Because this is meant to be a reflection on it rather than an analysis. Okay? This in green is pretty good because you kind of done both. You talked about how polite the culture is and how it's improper to eat and talk on the phone in public transportation, and how then Mikage, gets off the bus because she starts crying, but she does move into an alley and continues to really cry. More like this, with an emphasis on what you learned and how it might be connected to the book. The connection doesn't have to be nearly as highlighted as you've done here. Okay. So that's the reflective statement. Moving on to the essay. So you've got an interesting topic talking about how Yoshimoto shows life through death, or an experience of life through death, and you're looking at both novellas. What I did was I highlighted this in yellow because these aren't really techniques. Okay. I know it seems ridiculous to make the distinction, but you might say strategies. Rather than techniques, but the techniques suggest that it's an actual...
Oh, it's like a literary device almost.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
All right.
And instead you're looking more at characterization or emotions that they have to psychological stages rather than actual literary techniques. So I don't want to say it's the biggest problem, but it's the biggest problem, is that you tend to wax a little poetic. You give us a lot of Nate Sichter, MD, or who's Dr. Phil. You go doc.
I don't get right to the point. I
Right.
like to.
You get Dr. Phil on us a lot.
I've always had that problem.
You give us some great. You're like, allow me to paint a picture for you. After a fire in the meadow, new flowers will grow. And I mean that's great, but for IB, they want
short and precise.
It's not that it even has to be short. They just want precise. They want the concise and precise. If a long sentence is required, that's fine. But we don't need you to come up with examples from life. We need you to find the example in the story.
Gotcha.
And stay focused on that. And how maybe the techniques that Yoshimoto uses in these scenes, that would be really helpful. Okay? So what I did is I went through and highlighted in green some of the instances where you do have some good insight, and you've said it pretty clearly. Love happens after death, that in the aftermath of something as destructive as death, there comes a sense of peace that allows new things to grow. That's really nice. That's good. But it leaves a lot of room in this paragraph to develop.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
we don't have anything in here. We don't have any kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
That's all Dr. Nate.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay? So save the green and then apply that to maybe one of these scenes.
Okay.
Okay? Another good example, when Mikagi goes to Yuichi's hotel room, she realizes that though they've experienced so much death and destruction in a short time, they've known each other. A love has blossomed
Yeah.
through that devastation and has connected them together. I knew it. That's good. And that is an example of your analysis,
Okay.
or of at least the quote. Now, you could explain perhaps some of the techniques that Yoshimoto's using, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's using the glittering crystal. Talk about that kind of image,
Yeah. With that.
how that works.
Okay.
That had been sleeping in the depths of memory, was awakening and would keep us going. That suggests something has been hibernating maybe, and now it's coming back.
Yeah.
Yoshimoto reveals to our audience that through the death of Mikagi's grandmother Eriko, Mikage and Yuichi connect. This connection emerged as they found solace from each other's company. That's nice. So, keep the green. Maybe find us another example prior to this one, which is almost at the end of the novel.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Okay. I'm struggling with this paragraph on Eriko and her adversity.
Mm-hmm. Is it too is this an example where it's too focused instead of a whole novel view? It's just focused on one character.
No, sure. It's not that. It's so we're going to say love, adversity, or love through death. All right. Okay. I'm thinking love through death. That's Mikage and Yuichi.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some sort of realization, or muddled cheerfulness is what Eriko calls it,
Mm-hmm.
right? But some sort of peace or enlightenment or something,
Okay.
right? That comes through death, because I think if you're going to use Eriko, the focus is on her having lost her wife.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't find her name anywhere. So I
Yeah.
just call that Yuichi's mother, and I call it Eriko, and then her father's name is Yuigi.
UEG.
I'm almost certain. I think if you focused rather on focused on the loss of Yuichi's wife rather than on the transgenderness
Okay.
of the situation, because we really don't see, we only have a very brief kind of alluding to the problems of their family,
Mm-hmm.
and that's in the letter.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't go see them because they're jerks.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than focus on the sex change, focus more on the Eriko coming to some understanding and realization of muddled truthfulness, or this hardening and this understanding of the insight that until you know true despair, you won't know what great joy is.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, comes more from the loss of his wife, than it does
Okay.
the experience as a transgendered.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay? And that'll help align our focus too.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And then we get into the Moonlight Shadow piece. Put this in blue because it's good, and it would be in green, except that it's too vague. The reason why she does this, okay, by she, I assume you mean Yoshimoto,
Mm-hmm.
this, and then we have
And then I think it's
this,
a theme. Yeah, so it's
life through the closure,
acceptance, so accepting loved ones.
acceptance.
Yes.
Okay, so the reason why Yoshimoto shows or demonstrates or underscores this understanding. Just explain this.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's-
I'm lost myself. I've already gotten lost.
Okay. Yeah.
The closure is good. That one is pretty solid. The conclusion could tighten up a little bit. Take out the we,
Okay.
if you would, and take out. You only need to refer to her as Banana Yoshimoto once, and then the rest of the time just keep it Yoshimoto.
Okay.
Same is true for any author. Pablo Neruda once, and then Neruda. Okay. This stuff about when someone dies, two things happen. Take out the Dr. Nate.
Okay.
Stay focused on the three, the way that you've kind of retooled this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it'll be good. The last little quibble here is that through death we can explore life by investigating love. So it's like investigating love, investigating adversity, investigating closure. I just don't think investigating is the best choice there.
Okay.
It might be experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, without further ado, as it stands, the reflective statement here, again, we just need to beef it up with notes
Mm-hmm.
from what you learned, okay? And that's not hard to fix.
Okay.
Okay. Here, I've got the two just to kind of emphasize that if we go to Dr. Nate,
It'll become a two.
the readers tend to think that you're bluffing,
Okay.
you know? Because you're not giving us insight, you're giving us kinds of these broad kinds of
Yeah.
truisms, you know? When one door closes, another one opens, and after the rain comes the sun, and, you know, that kind of thing. So, the organization and development is really crucial to helping these other scores come up. And the best way to do that is what we talked about at the beginning. You've got a pretty solid, I like how you have it laid out, but part of it is we need to change the techniques and then come back in. And this score is lower not because of the organization, but because of the lack of development.
Okay.
Okay?
Some more
So bring in maybe one more example
per paragraph.
for each paragraph
Okay.
of that focus on how through death comes love, through death comes strength, and through death comes closure.
Okay.
Okay? And then all of that will naturally pull itself up.
Okay.
Okay?
And this is due when? The edits.
28th,
Okay.
6 days. And then I moved the Neruda to the 30th.
Okay. That's doable.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely try to fix this. And then when is this video going up?
I will try and have that up probably tomorrow. I've got to leave right after school today.
Okay, that's fine. I appreciate the insight. I've always been told that I always